There are so many intriguing details about just who may have had a hand in this week's savagery. Aaron Moriarty has this report on the seemingly invisible enemy.
What may be as difficult to accept as Tuesday's destruction
Get behind the building! Get behind the building!
is who caused it.
I consider what we have seen part of a new form of terrorism. I consider these people new terrorists.
What's most frightening about them, says New York Times investigative reporter Judith Miller, is that these terrorists live and act just like ordinary Americans.
They had families, they kept their doors open, they talked to their neighbors, they seemed to have nothing to hide. And this, unfortunately, is a standard part of their operations.
The intelligence community calls them sleepers, people who lead ordinary lives here in this country until they are quietly called on to act. In the past, sleepers were used for spying. What's new and frightening about the ones coming from the Middle East is that they are here to commit terrible acts of terrorism.
This is the most diabolically clever plot that I have ever seen. It was well planned, well orchestrated.
Former FBI agent Herb Clough has no doubt that sleeper agents pulled off last Tuesday's attacks.
I'm speaking directly about sleeper cells connected to Osama bin Laden. There's no question in the intelligence community, mind or my mind, that he has financed, trained, and has orchestrated all of these attacks, from embassy bombings to coal in Yemen and to this current horrific events.
Clough believes that these sleepers, as seen in this undercover surveillance video, have been in this country at least since the first World Trade Center bombing. How did they escape detection? This man, believed to have been one of the hijackers, may look like a terrorist now, but he gave no hint of it last year when he was living in Florida and taking flight lessons from instructor Henry George.
There was nothing said or done that would make you believe, that the individuals were suspect of any kind.
Which is what makes sleeper agents so difficult for law enforcement to find.
They've been carefully trained in the camps of Afghanistan and in other places to elude notice, to be able to blend in. They're taught how to be normal.
Like Ahmad Rassam, the terrorist intercepted at the Canadian border in December of 1999 with bomb-making materials in his car. He had worked as a grocer for 5 years in Montreal. How does Osama bin Laden recruit and motivate agents in this country?
I think he taps a fury and frustration, and my sense is a humiliation that so many of these people feel about not being able to quite make it in the 21st century economic political system.
And this may just be the beginning. Clough believes there are still dangerous terrorists living among us. Do you have any idea how many?
I don't know, but I've heard 50 sleeper cells. That's subject to verification.
If that's difficult for Americans to hear, it's even more difficult when they happen to be part of the Muslim community in this country.
Killing innocent people, women, children, that is not part of Islam.
They have as much fear of terrorists as anyone else.
What they did this time was turn an airplane, a jumbo jet loaded with fuel, into a weapon of mass destruction. But the next time around, they could very well be armed with chemical or biological or nuclear weapons. And that's my great fear.
Judith Miller working with our Aaron Moriarty.